Goldberg is returning to WWE before the Royal Rumble. Also, New Japan Pro Wrestling are interested in an ex-WWE superstar, and a top star is set to miss WrestleMania 41. It's all in the wrestling news. Hello everybody, Jack and Ross back again with our second news video of the day, and we're going to start off by talking about Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg, the Wrestling Observer, have an update on his... we know for a fact that Goldberg's going to have his retirement match sometime in 2025. The location, unconfirmed. The opponent, unconfirmed. But the Observer are saying that Goldberg will be appearing on the 4th Raw on Netflix, which emanates from Atlanta, Georgia. That is, of course, the place where he did things on the gridiron.
Especially when... and also the place where he won the world title from Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
That's a bit more important in terms of wrestling, yeah. And this will be the go-home show for the Royal Rumble, which broadcasts, of course, in dirty February. The Rumble in February is disgusting.
I know, at least it's the first. At least it's not like halfway through the bloody month or anything.
Christ.
But no, this is either going to... do you think this will actually be his retirement match or just set up for his retirement match?
I reckon he'll have a little appearance in the Rumble, then WrestleMania will be the retirement. You would assume,
that makes
potentially.
Sense. He's definitely a big enough name to have his retirement at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Who against?
Well, you think it's interesting because Tony Khan sort of changed the way we look at retirement matches now with how he treats Sting, because obviously time-honored tradition in professional wrestling, you go on your back on the way out. But in terms of Sting, it was a fantastic celebration. Could the door now be open to more celebrations of that ilk? Will Goldberg get one of them? Hopefully not, if he's facing Gunther. But if he's facing somebody else, it has to be the right opponent, I guess.
Gunther's the one there that makes sense because they've had their previous confrontation before. His son got involved as well. But then I was trying to think of who else could possibly be the sort of person to retire Goldberg. The first one that came to mind, because he does a spear, is Bron Breakker.
Oh, yes.
But would Goldberg want to lose to a Steiner on his way out?
Get Scott and Rick involved, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Well, Scott.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right. I think it could be Gunther. And if that is the case, that would imply maybe that he's losing his World Heavyweight title before WrestleMania as well.
Well, I think he's dropping it to Rollins, as we said on the podcast last week. Available where you get your podcasts from.
There's a big crossover between WWE and Netflix that's been confirmed via PW Insider. They say that Becky Lynch has filmed a supporting role in the forthcoming film, oh my word, Happy Gilmore 2.
This is impossible, Jack. This is impossible, because MJF is also in that film and he is in AEW. So you can't have a WWE and an AEW in the same thing. That doesn't work.
I saw the teaser trailer for the film and Shooter turns up at the end of the trailer. I couldn't believe. Oh my God.
He looks well.
He does look. He's one of those actors who I think has always looked older than he actually... looked way younger than he actually is. And now, even as an older man, he still looks fantastic.
There was a wonderful standoff in the trailer.
Oh my God.
And MJF's one of the arsehole sons of Happy Gilmore. Is that correct? I think I read that somewhere.
That's a good casting.
They were doing a huddle, weren't they? All the sons. I think they're all the sons.
PWInsider.com can further confirm that Becky Lynch is believed to be part of a rival group of golfers that will also feature American football star Reggie Bush, who I believe used to go out with one of the Kardashians. That's why I know his name.
I have no idea who Reggie Bush is, but good luck to him.
Lynch's role has been kept under wraps, but PW Insider can confirm that her scene has already been filmed. Sounds like just a little cameo.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Fantastic. Well, imagine saying you're in Happy Gilmore 2.
I know, it's the stuff of dreams.
It's a bucket list thing.
Her official comeback, Becky's, hasn't been officially announced by WWE, but she was part of media appearances at the Netflix HQ several weeks ago in Los Angeles.
And she was on the Raw on Netflix advert, which has been circulating over the past couple of weeks. She stood in the ring and turns around. What could it mean?
Whoa, it could mean
Say
anything.
her name. It was a bit Joe Hendry, I guess. Hendry versus Lynch, WrestleMania. You heard it here first.
It would... loud crowd reaction if that was the case. It's recently just been Wrestle Kingdom and also Wrestle Dynasty, and we're going to have a bit of New Japan news now from Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp has learned that New Japan Pro Wrestling has shown interest in Tom Pestock, the former, of course, Baron Corbin. Sean Ross Sapp says, we're told the two sides have been in contact, but we aren't sure how deep those talks are. Pestock was at AEW World's End, but he was just visiting friends there.
Fantastic signing it would be.
Yeah.
You only have to go back to an interview Randy Orton did for the WWE YouTube channel where he was like, yes, Baron Corbin's one of the lads who gets it. The wrestling, that is, and the how to put people down safely and footwork and stuff like that.
I'm not surprised that Randy Orton sees Baron Corbin as a really good wrestler, because even though they're not that similar in the ring, they do share certain similarities in the style that they wrestle and everything.
Shaven heads and tats.
And that as well. And I don't know whether Corbin would fit in with the New Japan style. He could adapt maybe his style to fit in and be a fantastic success, but whether or not he even would be, I just want to see this happen because I feel like he's just never been given a fair chance.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was for a a bit, wasn't he? But then he was
yeah.
blamed for the entire fault of the company back in 2018, which was a bit unfair. But yeah, I think he would fit in like a glove in New Japan. He's massive. He's massive. And we saw in NXT he can do any wrestling style you want him to do.
That
in his own
true.
particular way. Lucha Corbin was a thing in NXT for a little while there when he was part of the Wolf Dogs.
He single-handedly, well, Gable Steveson helped inadvertently, but he turned the crowd in his own favour against Gable Steveson in that NXT Underground match.
And if you don't watch NXT, you're probably going to think we're lying, but we're not. He was fantastic in NXT.
He actually was very good. More New Japan news, unfortunately, coming out of Wrestle Kingdom, because in a match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Doki was injured mid-match, only about 5 minutes in, sustaining a serious left arm injury during his title defense against El Desperado at Wrestle Kingdom, resulting in the match being stopped. And they must just do this in New Japan. They just switch the titles anyway. It seems like that's... They weren't just going to say, well, you didn't win by pinfall or submission. They just gave the belt to El Desperado anyway. Nasty moment. Didn't look very good at all. Hopefully Doki's all right. During the match, he went up to the top rope and did his big senton to the floor and landed the move, but it was the way that his left arm struck the floor upon impact and was dislocated, and it was just blatantly obvious that he couldn't continue. The referee had no choice but to hold the match and declare El Desperado the new junior heavyweight champion. Then Desperado gave him a mic and went, go on, bit of improv, and he did well, I thought, because he said, I'm not going to apologise for the way I won this. Hopefully we can have a rematch. I think that's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
You'd want to be like, I hope my friend's okay. Assuming they're friends.
He would have set that off, Mike, no doubt about it, surely.
Yeah.
Unless he is just an asshole.
No, I think he's a friend of the channel, of course. He was an ex-WCPW wrestler.
Yeah.
But no, I think, it was just one of those unfortunate situations, but the referee did the right thing.
It's an interesting way to do it. It's just changing the title, just in case the injury's so severe, I guess, that they have to just be out of action for a long time anyway.
I suppose so. And also, there's very rarely DQ finishes and stuff like that in New Japan. So maybe there's not really a precedent for the belt not changing hands on a non-finish sort of thing as well.
The Gabe Kidd, by the way.
Gabe Kidd, what a man.
Yeah, I saw that match.
Against
what a
Kenny
match
Omega.
it was, yeah.
It was probably the best match of that show.
Yeah, and that moment at the end with Tanahashi crying. My goodness me.
I know, I couldn't believe it.
It spoke volumes, so it did.
I was like, when was he? Apparently he's vouched for Gabe in the past and said he's class.
I think it's because Gabe spent time in Japan during the pandemic and didn't have a good time of it because he's obviously a long way from home.
And now he's come back from that.
Yeah, and then Tanahashi saw him as a young lion kind of thing and was like, whoa.
Oh, that's very nice.
My boy.
Yeah, very nice to see Kenny Omega back as well. Other young bucks, other AW names that were in action over the 2 nights. You'll never guess who it was.
Was it the Young Bucks?
It was the Young Bucks who won the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles this past weekend at Wrestle Dynasty on the 5th of January, defeating the Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb and the late addition tag team of Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi in a 3-way tag team match. And then they cut a promo afterwards, Ross.
Yeah, they hinted that they're going to take those titles to bloody Dynamite, a place where they haven't been seen in bare time, which means a long time. Of course, they lost the tag team titles, then was like, well, this is an unsafe working environment. We're going to go and work from home.
Now they've won those belts, which I believe they've held once before when they were actually in New Japan, of course. But this is them coming back and winning these belts. And I found it quite an interesting one because all the talk coming out of Wrestle Dynasty, apart from the Gabe Kidd Kenny Omega match, which kind of got universal acclaim, but a lot of people have gone, regardless of what you thought of the show, it wasn't promoted very well, at least on AEW's part. It's like they didn't really care that much about it. And now New Japan have let an AEW team win their tag belts. So I wonder where the partnership stands right now between the two promotions. It's very interesting.
And where the Bucks maybe stand in terms of how they're going to be wrestling this year. They're going to be more predominantly New Japan or sporadically AEW. I always think like that promotion thing comes down to like if you're in Japan, how heavily was like Forbidden Door promoted in Japan?
That's a very good question.
Little tit for tat scenario there potentially. I don't know.
Interesting. We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. And finally, a top Raw star has confirmed himself that he'll be missing WrestleMania 41. It's not too big a surprise, but I think it's worth mentioning anyway.
Yeah, it's big. Bronson really says, let's clear up some things. Dirt sheets report ankle fracture or injury. I unfortunately smashed my talus bone completely in half. I had it surgically repaired with screws and fragments taken out. Also had some bone marrow taken from my hip and put into my foot. Now this means I won't be at Raw Netflix premiere. Don't expect a Rumble surprise. And the biggest loss is no Mania. Please get with me on social media at this time. Understand about a serious injury, undergone serious surgery, and have serious implications from that. It's not merely a fracture.
Yeah, it sounds very serious. Hopefully Bronson Reed's okay, because he was on the cusp of he was getting pushed really well. It must be gutting. but hopefully he can come back all right and carry on that ascendance up the card.
No doubt when he's fit, he'll just tsunami someone 6 times and get back to where he was before.
That's literally all they need to do to remind people, how good he is. It's a big shame. I was about to say, unless he's working us, but we've seen the injury.
Yeah.
It looked serious.
That ankle went.
Yeah, it was nasty. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, that happened in the men's War Games match at Survivor Series, which was an amazing moment, but obviously led to that. So best wishes to Bronson Reed. Thank you very much for watching this news video. We've already had one earlier on today if you want to look at that as well, if you've not seen it yet. We've been... what am I doing? We've been Jack and Ross.
Jack and Ross. You're Jack and Ross. Adam and Andrew are live reacting to the Raw Netflix debut tonight on the channel. Come back on this channel when the show is happening. You'll see a little bald man and a lanky, hairy man.
Yes, and they'll be reacting to Raw tonight.
Why I went that way.
Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll see you very soon.